everyone, it's back in another video. Oh boy, my tennis friends on the world. It is semi-final time at French Open 2025. We had 128 players when this draw came out. Now we have only 4 left men standing, and all of those 4 that are left men standing are my top 4 favorites. Carlos Alcaraz, my number 1 favorite. Yannick Sinner, my number 2nd favorite. Novak Djokovic, my number 3rd favorite. And Lorenzo Musetti, my number 4th favorite. Yeah, guys. These 4 have all gone to the semi-final, exactly like I thought before this event started. What can we say, my tennis fans around the world? Semi-final time on Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. No surprises to see these 4 players here. We all, at least majority of us, all expected them to be here. And let's talk about these semifinals without any further ado. Let's start with the Carlos Alcaraz, Lorenzo Musetti semifinal first. The head-to-head is 5-1 in Carlos Alcaraz's favor. They face each other 4 times on clay, 2 times on hard courts. And 2 times that they face each other on clay actually is this year, and they have faced each other once at Grand Slam events, which was 2 years ago at French Open, by the way, and the 4th round, where a match where Carlos Alcaraz won in straight sets. And those 2, the other 2 encounters that they have had on clay has been this year in Monte Carlo in the final, where Carlos Alcaraz won in 3 sets, and then in Rome also in the semifinal, where Carlos won in straight sets. And the 4th clay meeting between them was actually their first ever meeting back in 2022 in Hamburg final. That is the only match that Lorenzo Musetti has actually defeated Carlos Alcaraz in that Hamburg final on clay 2022, where Musetti prevailed in 3 sets. All right, how do I see this one going? The underdog here, the huge underdog here is Lorenzo Musetti. He is playing his first ever French Open semifinal. Carlos Alcaraz is playing his 3rd consecutive semifinal at French Open. And Carlos Alcaraz is the best clay court player in the world. All right, he has won 2 Master 1000 clay court titles this year, 2025, Monte Carlo and Rome. He's the defending French Open champion from last year. So, of course, Lorenzo Musetti is going into this match as a huge underdog. Like I said, the head-to-head is 5-1 in Carlos' favor. He has 5 consecutive victories against Lorenzo Musetti. How Musetti to win this match, because he's the huge underdog here, he needs to play one of his best matches of his life. He needs to serve big, land a lot of first serves in, do a lot of damage behind his first serve, like Carlos does. Carlos and Sinner are the best players in the world in the serve plus forehand game, in the serve plus backhand game, in the serve plus put away game. They are the best players in the world on the so-called diamond shots of tennis, the 3rd shot of tennis, the 5th shot of tennis, and the 7th shots of tennis. And Lorenzo Musetti needs to challenge Carlos here. Lorenzo Musetti needs to give Carlos Alcaraz a match here. When he lands his serve, he needs to do damage. Because Lorenzo Musetti, in my opinion, should avoid long exchanges, because if he goes into long exchanges, Carlos Alcaraz will try to attack his weaker shot, which is the backhand. The backhand is not super weak, definitely not as weak as Tsitsipas' backhand, but it still is not his, according to me, his forehand is better than his backhand, even though Musetti's backhand is really good, really solid, but his forehand is better. So Musetti needs to try to finish the points and try to win the short rally lengths, because 80%, 90% in tennis matches, the player who wins the short rally lengths, 80%, 90% of those cases, he wins also the tennis matches. So Lorenzo Musetti needs to do damage there. Lorenzo Musetti needs to challenge Carlos Alcaraz in those short rally lengths. Serve big, also serve with spots. So that's also important, because Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner are the best returner in the world at the current moment. Djokovic is the greatest returner of all time, but at the current moment, Sinner and Alcaraz are the best returners in the world. And that's what Carlos did to Tommy Paul in the quarterfinal. Tommy Paul didn't find the spots, and Carlos was punishing him, was killing Tommy Paul's second serves because Tommy Paul couldn't find the spots. Musetti, he needs to have a lot of % first serves in, and he also needs to have the spots. And then he needs to do damage behind his first serve. And also avoid hitting backhands much. He should go around and hit as much forehands possible, as many forehands possible, because then he will do damage. And also Lorenzo Musetti also needs to play closer to the baseline. Lorenzo Musetti, sometimes he goes in that Alexander Sasha Zverev mode where he gets passive. And if he gets passive, he will be killed. He will be eaten like breakfast. So that is the keys for Musetti. And also, of course, when Musetti gets his chances, he needs to take them. Because in tennis, majority of times you will get some chance. You will get some break push opportunities here and there, and you need to take them. What is Carlos' keys? Carlos needs to just play his game, play offensive tennis, play first strike tennis like he usually does, play, have variation in his game, do damage behind his first serve and behind his second serve on the third so-called shot, on the fifth so-called shot, on those diamond shots, third shot, fifth shot, and seventh shot, and nobody does it better than him. According to me, he's maybe even better than Sinner in those so-called serve plus dynamic game, serve plus forehand, serve plus backhand, especially serve plus forehand. Nobody puts the ball away. Nobody is a better shot-making player than Carlos Alcaraz. So he needs to try to play that kind of a game. And of course, attack Lorenzo Musetti's weaker wing, which according to me is the backhand. Even though Musetti's backhand is better than Tsitsipas' backhand, but for me, Musetti feels like a light version of Stefano Tsitsipas. That feels, anyway, it feels in that way for me. And how is the head-to-head between Alcaraz and Tsitsipas? 6-love to Alcaraz. Alcaraz completely owns Stefano Tsitsipas 6-love. So for Alcaraz, it will be like facing a lighter version of Stefano Tsitsipas, but with a better backhand, because according to me, Musetti has a better backhand than Tsitsipas, but Musetti doesn't have a better forehand than Tsitsipas. So when I do all this analysis, this can go only one way, and that is Carlos Alcaraz's way. Carlos Alcaraz will defeat Lorenzo Musetti in 3 close sets. That is my feeling. And Carlos will advance to his second consecutive French Open final and to his 5th Grand Slam final. All right, let's go then to the other battle between Novak Djokovic, the 38 years old, the 24 times Grand Slam champion, the 37 Grand Slam finalist. He has been in Grand Slams 37 times. He's trying to make it to his 38th Grand Slam final. Who still is going strong, who just defeated Alexander Sasha Zverev, the world number 3, even though actually he was the favorite, according to me, there to defeat him there. And I believe in majority of other tennis people around the world had Djokovic as the favorite there. But he delivered. It is not easy as 38 years old, towards the end of your career, to defeat a player who is 10 years younger than you, like the case is with Zverev. So Djokovic is still going strong and is playing his 13th French Open semifinal. And he's playing his 51 Grand Slam semifinal. Who will he face in the semifinal? Yeah, it is, of course, Yannick Sinner, the world number 1, the Italian stallion, the hard-hitting Italian stallion, who is the world number 1 and who is giving bagel to players like he has opened some kind of a coffee shop. I think he has given bagels to 3 players in this French Open edition so far. In the second round, I think he gave 1 bagel to Gasquet. In the third round, I think he gave 1 bagel to Lechka. And then also in the quarterfinal, he gave 1 bagel to Alexander Bublik. So he's giving bagel almost every single match to his opponent. I'm not even mentioning the breadsticks because them he's giving as well. So Djokovic is that against Djokovic is facing that kind of a player, Jannik Sinner, who is trying to play his first ever French Open final and who is playing his second consecutive French Open semi-final, where he lost last year against against Carlos Alcaraz in a close set, in 5 close sets. And who's trying to play his 4th Grand Slam final, Jannik Sinner. He has played 3 before and won all of them. By the way, Carlos also has played 4 Grand Slam finals before and won all of them. So neither Alcaraz, neither Sinner has never lost a Grand Slam final. But if they face each other, one of them for sure will lose his first ever French Open final, his first ever Grand Slam final. So Djokovic is against Jannik Sinner. Djokovic, who was my 3rd favorite coming into this tournament, and he has proven me right. I couldn't have somebody else as 3rd favorite beside him because Alcaraz and Sinner are above everybody else. And who to put 3rd? I don't trust the 19th generation of players, the players that are born in the 90s. Like, for example, Zverev is a player that is born in the 90s. So that's why I had Djokovic as high as my number 3rd favorite, even though he is 38 years old and he has delivered my tennis friends all around the world. But now he's going against Jannik Sinner. Djokovic is the huge underdog here. Maybe he has not been this huge of an underdog since before he got his big breakthrough in the 2011 season and forward, when he was facing Roger Federer in those matches before 2011, in those 2007, 2008, 2009 US Open semifinals. All right, which all of those 3 he lost: 2007, 2008, 2009. But in the 2007, he faced Roger Federer in the final, actually, not in semifinal. 2007, Novak faced Roger in the US Open final. But 2008 and 2009, Novak faced Roger in the US Open semifinal. So, anyway, he was a huge underdog in those 3 consecutive matches at the US Open against Roger Federer 15, 20 years ago. It feels to me that he's in the same kind of a scenario here against Jannik Sinner. He is a huge underdog. He really is. He's 15 years younger. I'm sorry, older than Sinner. Sinner is 23 years old. Novak is 38 years old. Novak is not won a major in almost 2 years. Sinner has won the last 2 Grand Slam titles. It is him who has won them. He won the US Open last year and he won the Australian Open earlier this year. That is 4-all. Sinner has won the last 4 matches out of the last 5 meetings between them. They have faced each other 3 times before at Grand Slam events, 2 times at Wimbledon, 2022, 2023, and then they faced each other once at Australian Open 2024. So, and this fourth meeting between these two will be this 4 Grand Slam meeting between this clash between these two will be their 4th Grand Slam meeting and their first ever at French Open. They faced each other once at on clay, which was very long time ago, 4 years ago at Monte Carlo. Their first ever meeting, actually, a match where Djokovic won in straight sets, but it was a completely different Jannik Sinner then. Back then, he was definitely not that player that he is today. He's a completely different beast and animal nowadays. Anyway, the head-to-head is 4-all and 2-1 in Novak's favor in the Grand Slam events. Novak has 2 victories at Wimbledon 2022, 2023, and Jannik Sinner has 1 victory at Australian Open 2024. So, now they will face each other for the first time at French Open in their careers. Jannik Sinner has 3 consecutive victories against Novak Djokovic. If you look consecutively, so Jannik Sinner is going to this match as a huge favorite. I will talk about Novak's keys first to win the match because he's the huge underdog here. Novak needs to serve big. He needs to land a lot of first serves in, and this will not be enough. He needs to land a lot of first serves in, and he needs to do it with spots. he cannot have a lot of first serve sin and not find the spots, because he could do that against Zverev, where he landed 71% first serve sin, where he actually had great spots as well. But Zverev is not as good of a player as Sinner. Zverev doesn't return as good as Sinner. Zverev doesn't have great offensive skills as Sinner. Zverev doesn't have great defensive skills as Sinner. Zverev is not even as close of a good first punch player as Sinner. Zverev doesn't do damage behind his first serve and second serve on the third shot or fifth shot as Jannik Sinner does, and Alcaraz as well does. So that's why Novak needs to do even a better match than he did against Zverev. Novak did a superior match against Zverev. Don't get me wrong, but he needs to do even a better match, because Sinner is a better player than Zverev, a much better player according to me. That is a fact. That is not even an opinion. So Djokovic needs to have a high percentage of first serve in, 70% or higher, and he needs to find the spots. He needs to have depth behind these ground strokes, because in the match against Zverev, Djokovic had good depth. Don't misunderstand me, but not all the time. I could see sometimes the ball land on the middle of the court where Djokovic was getting a little passive. Zverev was not punishing him. Djokovic will not come away with those short balls against Sinner. I can guarantee you that. If Djokovic balls lands on the middle of the court, if Novak Djokovic balls are short, Sinner will punish him immediately. I can guarantee you that. So Djokovic needs to have great depth as well. Djokovic needs to have variation as well. Djokovic cannot play the same kind of balls and hit the same kind of balls against Sinner. Lechka tried that. Rublev tried that. They were killed. Lechka's balls, Rublev's balls, they were landing on Sinner's striking zone. Novak needs to give Sinner different looks, like Alcaraz does. Play sometimes flat, play sometimes with height, so they can bounce high on Sinner's shoulder. He needs to look how Alcaraz does when Alcaraz defeats Sinner. Easier said than done, but that is what he needs to do. And of course, he needs to continue to have a lot of drop shots, attacking the net, exactly like Novak did against Zverev. He needs to continue with that pattern, because if Novak gets to long exchanges, he is 15 years older, for God's sakes. Novak is the greatest baseline player of all time, according to me. Novak is not the greatest baseline player of the current time. He is not. If the rallies goes over 6-7 shots, advantage Sinner in majority of those rallies. Novak needs to do a big damage in his serve plus game. Exactly like Sinner, exactly like Alcaraz does. Novak needs to challenge Sinner in that department. He could challenge Zverev. He could, but Zverev is not even as close as good of a player as Sinner. Zverev doesn't have, like I said, the offensive skills like Sinner, the defensive skills like Sinner, and Zverev doesn't have the first punch play like Sinner. Period. Here, the bar gets even higher for Djokovic, and that's why Novak needs to play even better than he did against Zverev to win this match. Another key is he needs to win the first set. I think the first set is more important for Djokovic than it is for Sinner. I really believe so, because after all, Sinner is the huge favorite here. Sinner is the player that is 15 years younger than him. Sinner is the player who has defeated Novak in 4 matches out of the last 5 meetings between them. So the first set is more important for Djokovic than for Sinner. Sinner can beat Djokovic even if he loses the first set. Djokovic, if he loses the first set, I think that Sinner can just run away with this, because Sinner is a really, really good front runner. So the first set is a big key for Novak. And also, when Novak gets his chances, I believe he will get some chances, he needs to take them. Because in that Australian Open semi-final match last year, Novak didn't even create one single break punch opportunity. I think that he will at least create break punch opportunities in this semi-final clash. I really think so. I will be surprised if Djokovic loses this match without creating one single break punch opportunity. So when he creates them, he needs to take them. He needs to be clutch. What is Sinner's key? Sinner's the favorite here. He needs just to play his game. Another key for Novak, before I forgot, he needs to test Sinner lungs. Sinner, he doesn't have weaknesses, but if he has some weaknesses, maybe it is his physicality. If the match goes over 4 hours, Sinner is not always the most freshest player out there. but it has not many players who can push him to the 4-hour mark. So Novak needs to try to make this match physical, because I don't think Novak will be able to finish Sinner off in straight sets. I will be shocked if Novak did that. So Novak needs to try to test Sinner's lungs to see how he will react. That is also key for Novak. Sinner's key, he needs just to play his game. He needs to play attacking tennis. And another key for Djokovic, before I forgot, he needs to stay close to the baseline. He cannot let Sinner dictate. If Sinner dictates, Novak he's toast. He cannot let Sinner dictate. Also a big key for Novak. Sinner's key, he needs to play and of course, Sinner, he needs to play aggressive tennis, continue playing like he has done with his first strike tennis, with his 1-2 punch game that is really great after he lands the first serve and second serve. He needs to be prepared for the drop shots and the attacking at the net, because I think Djokovic will attack the net a lot and give and do a lot of drop shots. He will not maybe do as many drop shots as he did against Zverev, because Sinner plays much closer to the baseline than what Zverev does. Zverev is much more passive than Sinner, but Sinner needs to be prepared for that, the drop shots and the attacking at the net. And of course, Sinner needs to try to get Novak into long rallies, because if Sinner make Novak play long rallies over 6-7 shots over net, it is advantage Sinner without any shadow of a doubt, because he's the better baseline player than Djokovic at this current time, because he's much younger. He's in his peak of his career, maybe. If not in his peak of his career, for sure, almost in his peak of his career. Novak is not in his peak of his career, even though he's still super strong. So that is Sinner's keys. He just needs to play his game. He needs to hug the baseline. He needs to be prepared for the drop shots. He needs to be prepared for the approaches at the net that Novak will attack the net time to time. And a key for Sinner is he needs to try to finish Novak off before the 4-hour mark, because if the match goes over 4 hours, even though Novak's 38 years old, Sinner doesn't have the best physicality out there, at least not according to me. At least that was not the case before. So there you have the keys for Sinner to win this match. And let's see how this match will unfold. I think Sinner will be able to win the short rally lengths. The short rally lengths is always a key in tennis. He has more firepower than what Zverev has. Zverev doesn't have the same firepower as Sinner. Zverev doesn't play close to the baseline as Sinner. Zverev doesn't have even as near of offensive skills as Sinner. Zverev doesn't have good of defensive skills as Sinner, not according to me. So Sinner will do all of that. He will play closer to the baseline. He will do a much better job on the on the serve plus game, in putting the balls away after he lands the first serve, and even after he lands the second serve. Zverev won only 35% on his second serve. That will not be the case with Sinner. Sinner will not win only 35% from behind his second serve. He will do a much better job in that department. He will win much more points behind his second serve than what Zverev did, because Zverev doesn't have the best attacking game. Sinner has a much better attacking game than Zverev. So I think that Sinner will do all these things. And I think that Sinner will execute his game plan better than Djokovic, because I think that it is easier for Sinner to execute his game plan than what will be for Djokovic. For Djokovic, this mounting is a Mount Everest mountain to climb. This is a huge task for Novak. This is one thing to defeat Zverev, who has never won a Grand Slam title, who has been in 3 Grand Slam finals and lost all of them. And it is one thing to defeat Jannik Sinner, who is maybe playing his tennis of his life and who maybe is in the peak of his career, and who has defeated Novak Djokovic 4 times out of the last 5 meetings. So this will be a huge mountain for Novak Djokovic to climb, a mountain that I don't believe he will climb, but he is more than welcome to prove me wrong. I think that Sinner will win this match in 4 sets. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see Novak Djokovic. I would love to see this Cinderella story continue, and Novak going to that French Open final for the 8th time in his career, and Novak going to that Grand Slam final for the 38th time in his career. I would love to see this happen, but I just can't see how it will happen. I think Sinner just will be too solid, too strong, too offensive, too too consistent for Novak to handle. I truly believe so. And I think Sinner will win this match in 4 sets. I think so. But I hope I'm wrong. I believe Sinner will win in 4 sets. But to be quite honest with you, my tennis fans on the world, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see Novak Djokovic progress. It will be so great. It will be such a Cinderella story. So there you have my two preview of the semifinals. I think it will be a French Open final between Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, exactly like I thought before this event started, and I'm not changing my mind now. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, see you next time. Peace.